what are some of the best subclasses to delve into the mysteries of Candlekeep? I can obviously think of the Rogue Inquisitor, right?
Yeah.
This is someone who assesses facts very quickly. They can kind of sense when traps are around. This is the Sherlock Holmes subclass
Yeah.
through and through.
I think there's a very fun one. I'm not sure how mystery suited it is, but the Wizard's Order of Scribes seems perfectly in tune with the Candlekeep set.
Oh, yes. And vested interest, I would say.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Order of Scribes is the most wizardy wizard that has ever been published in D&D. Their spellbook is their spell focus. They can actually talk to their spellbook. And the fact that this is all about, it all starts with you finding a book. I don't know. I feel like there could almost be a Harry Potter element there, where you you find your spellbook at Candlekeep, and then you like commune with it, and then it starts talking to you. Maybe it does know mystery from a previous master.
Yeah, and even I just said they might not be the best at mysteries, but with things like Manifest Mind, where you can call forth that sort of ego within your spellbook and have it like be an invisible thing that can hear and see and telepathically share info, that's a great spy that you can use to listen in on important conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Anything jumping to mind, Justice?
I mean, Inquisitive is one. There was recently a paladin that had a wanted poster on their shield in Tasha's. Was that?
Oh,
that was a Cleric of Order.
Oh,
Cleric
the
of
Order
Order.
Cleric, yes.
Yeah, the Order Cleric, and that is a picture of Varric.
Right.
Which I have the action figure on my desk. That's still in the box.
I think the Knowledge Cleric, I think at some point they get the ability to like look back in time, right? Which to me screams like that Batman. There was a Batman game like maybe 5-6 years ago where you could rewind. I think it was Arkham Origins, and you could like rewind the crime scene and look back through it. And I think that would be really cool in an adventure to like look at the crime scene and see like vague figures moving and piece together like, oh, he stabbed him here. Who is this person? That sort of thing. I think that would just be super cool to see at a D&D
You know,
table.
to that point, in my current homebrew campaign, my partner Hannah Rose is playing a Dunamancy wizard. A Chronergy wizard.
Oh yeah, just rewind it.
Yeah, and she has developed some a custom spell called Echoes of the Past that was inspired, in my opinion. I mean, she made it, and then I thought, whoa, this is just like Jedi Fallen Order, where you can touch these things and get a little echo of an event that happened that kind of had this strong emotional resonance on this one item. Like you could hear people screaming as they fled from a village that was being burned down or something like that. And being able to just do that little bit of time rewindy, time manipulation in a mystery like this would be very perfect.
Now, certainly diviners.
Yeah.
Being able to cheese 2 rolls first off right out of the gate are pretty well suited to a mystery as well. So this is already an interesting party when you think of a knowledge domain cleric, a diviner, an inquisitive rogue. It's interesting.
Throw on the artificer there to like look at substances and
yeah,
all your gadgets, measuring, like distances and things like that. I don't know, artificer stuff.
No, artificers have a lot of infusions, like gloves of thievery. They've got they have actually quite a bit of stealth infusions that they can create. But I would definitely give a lot more credit to the alchemist for like mixing chemicals and trying to figure out something when they're doing an investigation check.
So this is unofficial material, but it's on D&D Beyond. Matt Mercer's Way of the Cobalt Soul Monk, as seen in Critical Role Beauregard's monk class, is all about learning knowledge. So one of their 6th level ability is Extort Truth, where you can spend key and hit someone to make them unable to lie. For
barbarians can do that too.
Oh yeah,
you just have to hit them really hard.
Hit them hard enough for your cleric to cast Speak with Dead on it. Yeah,
it's a good point. Intimidation goes a long way. You may need a bruiser. Detect thoughts is great and everything, but again, axe. Let me ask you a question.
It's kind of Watson
named my
sometimes.
axe Detect Thoughts.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing here. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Beauregard in particular is part of a clandestine group. Very good at finding information and acquiring information. A little bit more MI6 for monks.
Mm-hmm.
To that end, shadow monks, good for infiltrating. Good ninjas. Arcane tricksters as well. Arcane tricksters are particularly nasty now because of Tasha's. If you pick up the telekinetic feat, that adds 30 feet to your mage hand. So now you have 60 feet of an invisible hand that can pickpocket. So that's a nightmare for any DM.
Yeah,
so
the idea of
find clues easier.
Yeah, clues and I feel like in a lot of stories, the perpetrator, if it's, I always go back to crime as a mystery because I think it's like an example that people usually get, but the idea of finding evidence, because sometimes they can't destroy evidence, especially in D&D, if it's a magic item or something, they're going to have a lot of trouble destroying it. And sometimes, the perpetrator keeps something for like their own haughtiness, I guess. And you need somebody to schmooze at a party and get an in with somebody, or get into a place they're not supposed to go.
That's true. There might be a certain element of Ocean's 11 where you need like a talker. You need that bard who is, Lord Bard, of course. Makes a lot of sense. But someone who can like talk their way into a party.
I think even the Oath of the Watchers paladin new from Tasha's is useful. The watching they're talking about is watching to the stars, watching for extraplanar threats, but they get spells like Alarm and Detect Magic and See Invisibility, non-detection, stuff like that. It does make them very good at infiltrating and learning and all of those things. And I think just by that token, even any sort of ranger has spells that are well suited towards tracking and learning and warding areas with things like Alarm and so forth.
Sorcerer with the subtle spell, being able to subtle spell when you're I think this might be the book to play the sorcerer who's doesn't take damage spells and who puts people to sleep discreetly and charms them discreetly and gets them to tell the truth by maybe being a celestial sorcerer, and you take that zone of truth and nobody knows when you've cast it. You just realize as you're talking to them, for some reason I feel like I can't lie right now.
That's a good point. Yeah, the Divine Soul Sorcerer is quite good at that. It makes me think of like if there's some utility of the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer as well. But now sorcerers have the option to even re-roll ability checks at 5th level if they spend a sorcery point, which is very powerful and very kind. That's really fun.
I have this feeling that we were just talking earlier in this segment about the difference between thrillers and mysteries and how some really good mysteries, especially modern mysteries, have an element of thriller action in them now. And I think that's very, very in tune with what D&D can do. If you want to do pure sleuthing, you might look to another RPG system like Gumshoe or something of the sort. But with D&D, with its focus on highly magical, explosive action, I have a hunch that many of these adventures, if not all of them, will be looking for a way to strike that balance between thriller and mystery, so that everything always has a moment where it goes off the rails a bit intentionally, and you have to scramble to get back on the track of the perpetrator.
Kind of like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock, as opposed to the book,
which I adore.
They'll be fighting someone, or they're on a train and there's something blowing up, and Sherlock is dressed as that woman with the fan, and he turns around, you're like, whoa, what's happening? He's like, shush, I'm the bard right now.
I love those movies. I think those are a great
fantastic
for an adventure like this.
Yeah, they're fantastic in every way, and they do actually provide you some of the clues there.
Great template for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, actually, too. Those movies.
Now backgrounds are really a big deal. Actually, I almost feel like the backgrounds could be a bigger deal than the subclasses. If you look at the archaeologist, they have a background feature, and that's historical knowledge. When you enter a ruin or a dungeon, you can correctly ascertain the original purpose and determine its builders, whether they were dwarves, elves, or humans, or Yuan-Ti, or some other known race. In addition, you can determine the monetary value of art objects and more than a century old, which is something I don't read all the backgrounds, and I really should, because man, that could be key, right? Like you can like look at a piece of art or an object and know its value. Like you said, Justice, you know, you go to Candlekeep and you like display all these books, and they like we have all those editions, and then this moldy one turns out to be the one that matters.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones when they're trying to figure out which cup a carpenter would have used. You know, someone got a very good investigation check on that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, and maybe I'm extrapolating from my table, a lot of my players forget about their background features. And some of them are not just you get, you know, sort of in with the right crowd. Some of them are actually some subtle things that will pay off. So don't forget about your background stuff.
Yeah, there's some absolutely amazing stuff in there. You know, the fact that anthropologists can kind of figure out language no matter what is pretty huge, right? In the D&D multiverse.
I mean, the criminal contact in the criminal background. Just last night we're playing the Sherlock game, and one of the most important clues came from going to the informant who knew the bad parts of town and knew that kidnapping had frequented around this area, and having that in helped a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other backgrounds that are like very. Like there's some I would probably borrow from different books that have already existed, like the Operative, City Watch, certainly. That kind of stuff is interesting.
Hey, Justice, when we think about backgrounds, there's a question I've always kind of wondered, and I think you can answer it. It's a lore question. It's about Candlekeep.
I hope so.
And it's, why is it called Candlekeep?
It's a good question.
Why is it called Candlekeep?
Are there a bunch of candles in it or something?
You know, that is a great question. I might actually not know the answer to that one. Let me see. I'm pulling up my PDF here. I'm pretty sure I can tell you how the seal got started. Let me see. The seal began with Alondo, the seer, and let's see. The seal of Candlekeep appeared to the young seer Alondo during a dream. They saw Ogma and Denier discussing the future, and Alondo went up to them and said, and Ogma turned to Alondo and said, "If it is not written, and so known to the others beyond memory, it happened not." Denier then wrote the flaming sigil of Candlekeep in the air before him, and when the seer awoke, the symbol was burned into his chest. But it doesn't say why it's called Candlekeep.
That seal has like a candle on it?
I think it sort of looks like it has elements that look reminiscent of Denier's candle, Denier's eye, and Denier has like that burning candle. I think that the reason why would be in that original vision that the two first clerics had to go start this towers. I'm guessing, and I don't want to say firmly because it's not in here, is that they were told to go create a place called Candlekeep and start this tower, but I actually don't know.
I've just done a quick Google search, and I'm skeptical to say that this is a true answer, but Forgotten Realms novel has a quote from a character named Aidan Greymantle, who says, "Those who have seen Candlekeep from an aerial view have said that it looks like a cake decorated with too many candles."
We're gonna take that.
We'll take that.
I have seen art. I can attest to that much, and it does. So
sorry, it's not from a novel. It's a lore text. It's an in-world text mentioned in Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
There it is. It does kind of look like us because of all the towers. It does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
It could also have to. It might have to do with the idea that it is a keep because it has that wall around it, and supposedly you would need candles inside a lot of these reading rooms. But there's actually a ward. We were talking about the wards earlier, but there's actually a ward that repels fire and desalinates the air in here. So it might be that you can No, now that I think about it, fire's not allowed in Candlekeep, so I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like you need flameless candles.
Why
I did
is it
find
called
the ultimate
Candlekeep?
background, by the way, and that would be Cloistered Scholar.
Yeah.
Though others must often endure extensive interviews and significant fees to gain access to even the most common archives in your library, you have free access, and to the majority of the library, and to most that would be seen as too valuable to touch or know about, you have the access to this information. You have knowledge and personal experience with the bureaucracy of libraries as well, and you're able to navigate these social situations and these connections. Additionally, you have preferential treatment at other libraries across the realms as a professional courtesy shown to a fellow scholar. So you might even work at Candlekeep with this particular background. And this is like great. You should really look at your backgrounds. Real quick, we got a couple questions. It's already we're already past an hour. So, what book would your prospective character be looking for in Candlekeep? What would they bring as an offering to gain entry? The book that I haven't written yet. It would be lovely if someone would just write that for me.
I will. My character will be a Horizon Walker Ranger who brings a copy of Candlekeep Mysteries from Earth to Candlekeep.
Oh man, you just out-totted Todd.
Man, I mean that stuff happens in the realms all the time too.
Yeah,
I mean, Elminster canonically likes Mountain Dew.
Oh my goodness.
I love breaking the fourth wall, and that's like a great opportunity for it. Yeah, Horizon Walker, my favorite ranger, as Joey very well knows. Because he'll like prove to me you can't go to Earth.
Yeah,
you know, you sense portals at third level. That you can find your way around. Another question is, does Candlekeep have dungeons? And what's the worst thing you can find there? We're not going to tell you. But I'm sure there's dungeons.
There's catacombs, and there is the ghost of a dragon named Miriam that was bound to the keep by a powerful sorcerer named Torth, who died before they could undo the spell. And so this dragon died long ago, this silver dragon, and its ghost haunts the lower levels and protects books in a way.
Ghost dragon.
Ghost dragon.
Terrifying. I don't like that one bit. No. Has anyone ever tried to take over Candlekeep, such as the Red Wizards, for example?
Yes, there is a classic tournament module. I think it was from the 4th edition days called Confrontation at Candlekeep. And okay. I've got a bit of a story about this. My brother was playing Confrontation at Candlekeep publicly at SakuraCon, the Seattle anime convention, quite some time ago. And he met a famous, or not famous at the time, he met a favorite voice actor of his who had played a character in one of our favorite games, Fire Emblem Awakening. He played a character called Crom. And this guy's name was Matthew Mercer. This was 2 years before Critical Role began. And Matthew Mercer was just there at that convention. And Confrontation at Candlekeep is very cool because it's an epic, a multi-table event where a blue dragon, I believe, swings from table to table as it attacks many different towers of Candlekeep. And Matthew Mercer, in the years before Critical Role, when he too was just a normal D&D fan who did anime voices, decided to play the dragon and just run around and do his dragon voice that he does for Critical Role and just be a big showman at that show. So Confrontation at Candlekeep, great adventure, very fun. Made more fun if you have Matt Mercer at your table.
It was Valron. He was the chosen of Asmodeus.
Oh,
pretty cool.
Oh, I don't like that guy. So next question: does Candlekeep have evil books unleashing cosmic horrors? You bet.
I'm sure it does.
Of course, they have those. They have all the editions. There's probably the secret to Lichdom down there somewhere. So, another question: what D&D class is Agatha Christie? She's rogue inquisitive. I think.
Shirley.
Yes. Don't call me Shirley. Oh yeah. And then we at some point I think we gave away a Sword Coast Adventurers guide. So congratulations to whoever got that. Congratulations. That's about it. That's all we got for now. We're gonna have a lot more information about Mysteries of Candlekeep, current Candlekeep Mysteries. We've actually got that open for pre-orders right now on D&D Beyond. It's got fantastic authors, 17 different people. I'm friends with like most of them, so it's very exciting to see this many different voices come up with this many mysteries. And I think it's gonna go from like really dark mysteries to really hilarious ones, or sometimes just something with a twist. So I'm very excited for the eclecticness of this book. I think it's gonna be one of those books where you can just kind of pick it up. You know, maybe you don't have anything planned for that session, and you can just dive in. So, thank you very much, Justice Arman. Thank you very much, James Haeck, our lead writer at D&D Beyond. Thank you, everyone else, for watching. Stay safe, and don't forget to be kind to each other. Thank you so much.
Later.